In the late 80s,
Here come the rooster. Yeah.
they were on the forefront of the burgeoning Seattle sound.
The man in the box.
Divine harmonies combined with visceral lyrics and brooding musical force propelled them from a damp and darkened basement in the Pacific Northwest to international superstardom. They soared through the 90s as one of the most successful bands of the decade and never looked back. Alice in Chains. Now their journey continues with their first album in 5 years, Rainier Fog. A 10-track homage to the Emerald City and fellow music heroes that call it home. Hear what happens when one of the most influential American rock bands of our time plays atop their hometown. This is an intimate performance and conversation in front of Sirius XM subscribers from 500 feet above Seattle inside the Space Needle. Sirius XM's Artist Confidential with Alice in Chains. Your host, Grant Random.
Welcome to SiriusXM's Artist Confidential, a very special episode as we are high above Seattle in the world-famous Space Needle. And this is not just... This is not just the Space Needle as you knew it. We are now sitting atop a glass floor as we can look down, as I'm actually not going to do, and see the ground 500 feet below, which is a bit frightening, but I think we're going to get through it. We are here to celebrate a legendary band who's been entertaining us for years. They provided us with countless memorable musical moments, and we are celebrating their new album, Rainier Fog. Please welcome Alice in Chains. I gotta say, you guys have a flair for the dramatic. This is crazy. How did you guys decide to do this event in the Space Needle on this glass floor?
I don't know. They asked us to.
Somebody brought it up.
Yeah.
Somebody just brought it up.
Again, it couldn't be a much cooler place to play. I mean, I remember hearing about Mudhoney playing on the top of it, right? That was pretty cool. So, especially with the redo, yeah, looking down, if you got some vertigo issues, it's a little scary.
Is this your first time seeing the glass floor and looking down?
It is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you remember, since this is such an iconic part of Seattle, do you remember your first time coming to the Space Needle?
Oh, probably when I was a kid. Yeah, I've been coming here my whole life. Anytime you bring somebody to town that's not from here, this is one of the prime spots you got to take them to. It's the Needle, man. Wow.
And of course, this is a first of its kind performance because no one has actually performed in this newly renovated space on the glass floor. There's no place like this on the planet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
It's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we're... Look at this.
We got a whoop.
I want to be in her band.
We have a very enthusiastic audience, which we appreciate. Now, you guys are going to play for us, which we appreciate, and you're going to play the song Your Decision. Mm-hmm. And what would you like to say to not only our audience here, but the people listening across North America about this song?
Well, it's kind of become one of our regular songs in the set. It's a song we really dig a lot, and we think it rocks. Want to check it out? Do you like us?
Sounds like a plan. All right, it's Alice in Chains here on Sirius XM.
Time to change is come and gone.
It's your decision. It's your decision. Overwhelmed, you choose to run. Apathetic to the sun. It's your decision. It's your decision. Feed the fire that burned us all when you lie. To feel the pain that spurs you on back inside. No one plans to take the path that brings you lower. Yeah, you stand before us all and say it's over, it's over. It might seem an afterthought. Yes, it hurts to know you're part. It's your decision. It's your decision. You feed the fire that burned us all when you lie. To feel the pain that spurs you on back inside. It's your decision. No one plans to take the path that brings you lower. Yeah, you stand before us all and say it's over, it's over. It's over.
It's Alice in Chains here atop the Space Needle here on Sirius XM. You guys have a new album out, Rainier Fog. Now, am I saying that correctly? Rainier.
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 It's Rainier.
Straight A. Rainier.
Rainier.
Yeah.
Rainier.
I knew I was gonna blow this.
And it's and we've established that it's you can always nice.
Thank you very much, my people.
But we've already established that it is Frog, Rainier Frog.
Frog.
According to
Yeah.
yeah. So
So far it's been called Rainier Frog, Rainier Dog.
Well, there's many alternate titles of the new album. First
And
of all,
more to come.
and more to come.
And more to come.
Throughout this
Mordecai.
night, we're gonna have plenty of more titles. I'd like to first of all congratulate you, but Jerry, I have to commend you because I know there's been a big celebration here in Seattle for the new album, and you guys were honored at the Seattle Mariners game.
Yeah, we all went out. Yeah.
And they won. And they won.
They won, so the bullet, just throw that in there.
It was Alice in Chains night at the Mariners game,
was.
which is very special.
Pretty cool.
Now, what I wanted to commend you on is that you got to throw out the first pitch.
I did.
And if you didn't see it, not only did Jerry actually pitch from the mound, which people don't normally do, but you threw a strike.
I did.
How about that?
And give him the good part. It was 137 miles an hour.
It was a 35-mile-an-hour fastball.
It was a 35-mile-an-hour fastball. Right away.
You should see our assistant Todd Schuss has got bruises on his knees from all the wild ones I was throwing in the hallway. So it could have gone either way, folks.
How much preparation went into the first pitch? I gotta ask.
Couple days. Yeah.
Couple days.
Yeah. We got a buddy of ours who's we got a few friends of ours that pitch actually, and Randy Wolf is a great Major League Baseball pitcher.
A Milwaukee Brewer.
And I think he made a stop through here for a second too. And before we were going to do this, I called him up. I'm like, man, I haven't thrown a ball in like 20 years. I'm like,
Right.
like, Randy, would you play catch with me? He's like, yeah, dude, come on over.
So you actually got some tips
You
from
should, yeah, keep the arm up, man. Don't get out to the side. You get wild when you get out here. Just up over the window and drop it in.
Did you attempt to put any action on it? Did you do like a split?
I was just trying to get it to the plate and not put it in the dirt. Yeah.
Well, how about it? He pitched a strike, which is amazing. Now, the question is, the Mariners are right in the thick of it. Did you by chance get a call from their management saying, hey, we could use some arms in the bullpen?
I was out there. I mean, but Sean's the reliever, man. He's the closer. So, like,
You're the closer?
yeah. He's got heat. He's got heat.
Tell us about your heat, Sean.
It's really warm. It's really great. Probably should wear an oven mitt if you touch me.
I'm like the
Shake
real
my hand.
slow knuckleballer. He's like the heater.
Yeah, if you shake my hand, wear an oven mitt. I'm just, you're forewarned.
Okay. All right. Watch out.
No lawsuits.
So, the new album, Rainier Frog. I have to ask, obviously, it ties into the area the album does.
Not right here, man. It's right over there. You would be able to see it were it for the smoke.
There's a little...
Rainier smog.
Yeah.
Can't see it right now.
Talk about this album's relationship to Seattle, if you would.
Yeah, well, we made a decision to come here and record the record. So we went back to Studio X, which used to be Bad Animals, and our friends in Heart owned it. And we recorded the self-titled album there, our third record. And, Sean's like, man, the studio's open there. Why don't we go record there? So we moved up here all last summer and recorded basically the bulk of the record here, and then did overdubs and vocals in Nashville and California after that. But we moved in here, man, and it was cool. It was great for all of us to live here for a few months all together, reconnect with all our friends and families and stuff. And that song in particular, it's just kind of taken into account how lucky we are. We've had a really great life, and we're still going. And we've got a lot of great friends, and we come from an area that's really creative, full of artistic people and caring people, and just kind of honoring all of that. Full circle, taking stock of how cool a life it's been, and it's still going on. So.
And how great is that, right?
Also, Top Pot Donuts and Dick's Burgers. Fuck yes.
We're going to hear you guys do another song, and this is one everyone knows and loves. You're going to perform for us, Down in a Hole.
This is one of my favorite videos that we ever made. Actually, we got to run around. We all kind of had little tiny cameras, and we kind of went out to, where were we? Death Valley out there? Yeah, we were out in Death Valley, and we all just kind of filmed each other, like walking around, and all the people that we met out there. And go ahead, Sean.
All the people in the video were just people that live out there.
They live there.
That we just ran into. We just showed up at their places and started hanging out with them. and they signed
They
releases.
were really nice.
We just
Nobody
hung
called
out.
the cops either.
We can't talk about that. But no, it was really cool. We just had Super 8 video cameras and said, okay, let's go out in the desert and get weird. And so it was fun because videos are kind of odd to make, and so that one was really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Alice in Chains here on Sirius XM.
Every
We are atop the Space Needle here in Seattle with Alice in Chains. We're celebrating the release of the new album, Rainier Fog.
Cod. Rainier Cod.
Smog.
This is going to take on a life of its own, and you guys are going to regret
Screwed
this.
you up, man. You'll be saying it wrong for the rest of your life. Now. It's good.
It's screwed.
It's been a mission, actually. We've been really trying hard, and we've been tripping a lot of people up. So don't feel bad.
That was intentional. It was intentional.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you went back to Studio X.
If you're going to record, there are some studios around here, but that's the main studio downtown. That's the world class studio here in Seattle. We did have history, so that was part of the conversation for sure. And it doesn't get used a lot. Things have changed with technology and the way the music business kind of works. And so one of the main businesses that have suffered is actual studios. See, they're a dying breed because you can do stuff on your computer. You don't need a big room, so it really only gets used for what, Sean? Like orchestras and games and stuff like that. Yeah.
So as you guys were back in the studio, was it similar to what you remembered being there, or is it completely different? I mean, were there memories that were triggered by being back in the space that you guys had actually been in before?
I mean, it pretty much looks exactly the same. So, we had a couple of conversations before we went in there, but, when we're working on a record, it's, you shut the door on the submarine and you go down and that's it. So as soon as the door shuts, it's business as usual. So,
you weren't getting caught up with nostalgia. You were just there to make your album.
There's too much work to do to get
way
too caught
too
up
much
in
work
that,
to do.
Well, I think that begs another question, because
That's the
obviously,
kind of stuff you can think about later, after the fact. I mean,
have you thought about it after the fact?
Well, I have thought about it after the fact, and I'm about to tell you a few things that I thought about. For instance, we didn't think about it at the time. It wasn't intentional, but after the fact, we realized that that's where we recorded the third record with Lane. It's also the place we recorded the third record with William. So that was kind of a cool little lineup. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Symmetry.
Yeah.
Symmetry.
Pretty cool.
Now, you were talking about once you get in there, it's all work. And I think what people don't realize is that making albums is really difficult work. And
it's really boring a lot of the time.
Perhaps. But there are countless decisions that you guys have to make. It's not just about the songs and how you arrange them. And it's not just about the instruments, but it's producers, it's engineers, it's mixers. It's
a team. You have to pick the members of your team and then work with all those people. So it's that many more opinions flying around, which is usually good.
With that, we're going to hear another song. You guys are going to perform for us No Excuses. Do you guys have any thoughts or reflections about this one before we hear it?
Sure. This is one of Sean's signature riffs. He's got so many of them, just the simple roll of the intro to Angry Chair is probably one of my favorite. It's so hypnotic, but the beginning rolls that he's doing fills into the song are some of my favorite. And Mike's bass playing on it is amazing. When he came into the band, he brought Mike Starr was an amazing bass player, completely solid, rock solid, and he and I were locked, and we had a thing, and it was really beautiful. And I'm glad we got to be friends as long as we did and make the music that we did. But when Mike came in, he brought a whole new energy that I think this band kind of needed at that time. And his bass line on that is just ridiculous. It's so musical, and he's such a musical player.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing.
I'll expect that $20 upstairs, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The bill will come due.
No checks.
He knows I'm good for it.
And with that, let's hear it. It's Alice in Chains here on Sirius XM.
It's alright. There comes a time. Got no patience to search for peace of mind. Laying low, wanna take it slow. No more hiding on the sides and truths are every day is something hits me on so cold. Find me sitting by myself, no excuses that I know. It's okay. Had a bad day. Hands are bruised from breaking rocks all day. Trained in blue, I've been for you. Think it's funny, well, you drown in it too. Every day it's something hits me up so cold. Find me sitting by myself, no excuses that I know. Yeah, that's right. Walk down the line. Leave a red gold train for walks of shine. You, my friend, how will it be? If we change, well, I love you anyway. Every day it's something hits me on so cold. Find me sitting by myself, no excuses that I know.
Cool. It's Alice in Chains here on Sirius XM atop the Space Needle here in Seattle. So I happened to be looking at Twitter today, and I saw that today, as we sit here in this space, it's the 28th anniversary of the release of your debut album, Facelift.
Wow.
For Jerry and Sean, does it feel like it's been 28 years since that album was released?
Sometimes, but most of the time not. Yeah.
No, I still think I'm cool. I know I'm not. But, you know, you can dream.
Yeah.
Hang on to the past.
Wait, let's ask the audience. Is Sean cool?
That wasn't loud enough. to my ego.
You're not convinced?
That just wasn't loud enough for my ego, which is immense. So basically, tomorrow night's audience is probably going to be better for me than tonight.
Sean is turned on the audience.
Yeah. Okay.
As you guys reflect back, what are some of the memories that come to mind when you think about the making of that album 28 years ago?
Well,
I had a broken hand.
you did have a broken hand. Sean almost didn't get to play that record. Greg Gilmore almost did.
The question is, how did you break your hand?
We're not going to talk about that either.
Because we've already gotten creepy enough, we can't go there, can we?
That's just.
I'm noticing you ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, what's with an interview guy asking so many questions?
I know, it's ridiculous, right?
Kind of weird.
You know, full circle though, like just those songs on that record. Like when Will joined the band, he came in and just killed Love, Hate, Love. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what did it for me. When I heard William Duvall,
Yep.
our brother William Duvall singing Love, Hate, Love, it was pretty much a done deal at that point. So, yeah, man. So those songs are very important on different levels, you know.
You're going to play a new song now from the new album.
Yeah.
A track called Fly. So
Yeah.
for many people here in the audience and for people across North America, this may be the first time they're hearing it.
Yeah.
So-
First time we played it.
How would you like to tell people what to expect from this song before we hear it?
You know, I think we're really proud of this record. We have 3 great songs out right now. Never Fade, which is a song that William and I wrote together. The One You Know, and So Far Under, which is another great song and a killer riff that William wrote. Fly, Drone, Deaf Ears, All I Am. I mean, it's a solid record. This is kind of an interesting. It's got a couple little twists to it. It's kind of like an acoustic bass song, and it's very us, I guess. But it takes a couple little twists. You know, the middle part always reminds me of the Stonehenge section of This Is Spinal Tap for some reason.
Druids.
Like a little guy getting caught in the wires and stuff. And, yeah, but I don't know. Check it out.
Let out on a leash behind you, holding
Thanks, guys.
Guys, we would just like to thank you so much for this performance today, this historic performance, this first of its kind performance here in the Space Needle on this glass floor. And thank you for this conversation. And congratulations on the album. From the opening notes, and I would like to say I love how it opens with The One You Know, because it's intense, it's urgent, and it like grabs you by your shirt and demands your attention, and it says, hey, Alice in Chains is back. And it's really incredible. So congratulations on an awesome record.
Thanks. I'd like to thank the Space Needle again for having us so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And I'd like to thank all our family and friends for being here and
Absolutely.
opening your arms to the band again. And it means the world for us to have recorded it here, and now we're going to take it all over the world, but we're reconnecting, with all of you, and we'll see you really soon. Yeah.
Everybody, let's hear it again for Alice in Chains.
Thank you.
This has been another exclusive presentation. SiriusXM's Artist Confidential with Alice in Chains.